What's up?
Not much.
Like, can you elaborate?
Well, what do you want me to say? I mean, it's just the intro, and it's almost over anyway. So why do I have to tell you my problems? You know, what are you, my therapist?
Well, actually, yeah, kind of. Yo, what's happening? What's happening? Is anybody out there? Is anybody hearing this? Is anybody actually paying attention? I mean, not to me, just like in general. Get that feeling like everybody. It doesn't matter what you're up to, whether you're like captain of a gigantic submarine or if you're just working at McDonald's, like you're definitely everybody's just sort of out to lunch while they're doing that thing that you know, the main thing that they're possibly passionate about. They're just kind of spacing out, and I'm definitely no exception to that. I often find myself completely spacing out and not caring about stuff that I sort of thought I did care about. It's a weird feeling. Yeah, so I don't know. I definitely like to minimize the personal aspect of this show, but yeah, it's gonna be a crazy. It's next couple days. It was a crazy day today. I just have not had a lot of time to focus on the show here and make cool concepts and do fantastic research for you guys. That still doesn't mean that we can't discover something together here on the show. Which yeah, oftentimes we do figure stuff out together. I like doing that with you guys, but yeah, it's a complex time in my life, and I'm sure in all of yours. It just is. There's no denying whether you're like 12 years old or already retired. It's just a complex time. I think you'll probably agree. Do you agree? But I am very curious to see what happens. I wanna keep doing this show on the regular, on the daily, and see how that goes, see how that affects the numbers. Because I honestly, ever since I started this channel, have not been very consistent, getting on here day in day out. And so yeah, I'm very curious to see how that goes. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Looks like we got Snafu Snaps in the house. That is fantastic. It's good to see your emojis, Snafu. I know we've been out of touch for quite some time, but I do think about you, bro. And yeah, if you guys don't know Snafu Snaps, definitely click on that guy's name in the chat and go check out his channel because he's putting together some awesome stuff. What's up, bro? Oh, we got Kim Adams here too. Good to see you guys. So yeah, before we take a sort of dice rolling look at the news, I wanted to bring you this segment again, like I had previously. The segment where we see if there's red and blue in some television. It could be a movie too, I guess. But we see, is there red and blue somewhere in this TV show? Is it prominently displayed, and is it somehow having an effect on your mind? Maybe sort of entraining you in a certain way. Okay, so I popped open Netflix. I was like, man, I'm bored. What is existence? Let's see what this show is all about. And yeah, I honestly couldn't get into it. Sorry, Diabolero. But as you can see, right, Assistant Frame, we have Diabolero, Season 1, Episode 1, maybe 30 seconds into it. And bam, there's the red and the blue. There it is. It's right there. And this is very, very obviously like, graphic design, color corrected after the fact. Very obvious, right? Nothing else in this frame is even remotely colorful in any meaningful way. And, so, right, they obviously had to pay some artists to do this. I guess it's kind of interesting with the circles and that kind of stuff. But they had to pay somebody. There was conversations had, well, we got to have this building here in the first couple frames of this show. It is a mandatory requirement. I do not think, yeah, depending on who's in charge, certain people have any sort of say in whether this is happening or not. It's just happening. There's going to be red and blue at the beginning of your show. Congratulations on getting a Netflix show, but we're about to get up in there with those colors. And you better be okay with that. So, right, showrunner, right, director, right, director of photography, just step in line. And honestly, I'd probably do the same if I was in their situation. What are you gonna do? You got a Netflix show. You gotta toe the Netflix line, right? Right. Anyways, let's jump on over to the internet real quick. Oh, looks like I got my chat open. What's up, guys? Crushing it in general. Everybody that types in words into this box is my own personal hero, at least for some time. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys spending time with me. I honestly do. It's an honest. That's not me just saying that. I honestly do appreciate you guys. Now you may be asking, who the fuck is Larry Tesler? And that's a very valid question for you to be asking. But this guy seems to be all over the news today. Obviously, a very important computer person, and he invented cut, copy, and paste, which I'm sure we use all the time. If you use a computer with any regularity, right, it's a lot easier to copy and paste things. It definitely did sort of revolutionize computing in general. Let's check this out real quick, right? The inventor of cut, copy, and paste, find and replace, and more was a former Xerox researcher. And so, right, this is from the BBC. I'm more curious. Ooh, my keyboard. What's tripping me out kind of is his similarity to Tesla. That his name is somehow seems to be some sort of bastardization or change to Tesla. That maybe this guy was actually part of the whole team. Maybe he was even part of that whole family, which could be interesting. I'm always interested in the early life of people like these because that's usually where it all comes together. So let's check this out. He grew up in New York City, graduated from the Bronx in '61. There we go. Went to Stanford. So obviously this was sort of his initiation period. He obviously met a lot of cool people. Maybe went to some bizarre meetings. I'm not saying he ate babies specifically, but it's also possible that he ate some babies while he was at Stanford. But also definitely learned some computer stuff. As he was one of only a few computer programmers listed at the Palo Alto phone directory, he received a good deal of work. However, a regional recession caused this consulting work to dry up. And then, yeah, I guess he was just teaching and stuff. And then he went over to Xerox. And there's not really time here to get into the full history of the Xerox company, maybe on a later show. But they do a lot more than just making copies It's one of those early personal computer companies like IBM that ended up actually sort of pivoting and going into other markets, but were really instrumental in coming up with this whole thing that we're all staring at these screens, our black mirrors, and somebody had to come up with the actual technical aspects of all of this. And it was over at Xerox that they came up with stuff like the graphical user interface that people, before they figured this out, were still doing command line code writing kind of stuff. And I remember from my childhood that, the Windows computers, you would turn on that Windows computer and you had to know the words, you had to know the code to enter in to actually get it to boot. It wouldn't automatically boot into the Windows that we know today. It would start with you with the command line, and you had to honestly know what was up. I remember knowing those things. And it took some time, and it shaped our whole world. Now, I guess he went over to Apple as well. Now, I don't want to get fully bogged down on Mr. Larry Tesler. It's more interesting to me that how important this appears to be, right? Especially on this very numerology related day that we're having here, right? Happy two 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 two. It's we got quad fours. We got four of a kind on this day. It really is a very special day. And as we know, all of the fancy types, all of the really smart people, they know about this numerology thing and end up gaming it to their own use. And oftentimes when people die, important people, I'm not saying this guy was murdered, just like I'm not saying he ate babies, but also there's a chance that somehow this all got timed out so he would land exactly on this day. Also, the age is always very important. And I don't want to leave anything off the table. Maybe he was escaped and got out. Maybe he's on in that same category as Kobe Bryant, and this is him exiting our culture as he goes down into the deep underground military base that they've set up for everybody that's in the club, and he will now be finding his place down there underground as the plasma apocalypse is inching ever closer to basically wreck this whole planet. And so maybe he's down there. Maybe he's also dead. Maybe he died of natural causes, and maybe he was murdered. I don't want to leave anything off the table. And obviously, right, this isn't really just super hardcore important news. This is definitely just yet another smokescreen distraction. But as with all this news stuff, there's always multiple reasons, possibly dozens of reasons for running any given news story at any given time. And deaths are always a fantastic cover for, right, taking the coverage off of maybe something that's getting a little bit too much coverage, maybe the virus, maybe what's going on in politics, and they can divert everybody's attention towards, Larry Tesler, and I just got sucked in as well. We got into Larry Tesler. But yeah, again, you're just your regular here reminder to know that it's most likely just a huge distraction, and always makes me wonder, well, what is it that they're distracting from them? What is the issue that we're talking about? Now, I was just clicking around here a second ago. Apparently, this guy, Monster, absolute monster face, I'm sure he's getting in the bunker. He's probably already got a seat. They're trying to run this billionaire for president. I'd say Mike Bloomberg has probably done much more sketchy stuff than a lot of people, because he is sort of halfway in between deep high level politics and deep high level finance and industry, right? With all of his stuff that he's got going on, right? For everything from the stocks to the TV channel to this guy's empire is massive. And just right, obviously there's red and blue in the American flag, and so that might be what they're referencing. But interesting to me nonetheless that we see the red and the blue here in his logo. It is making you soft in your brain and getting ready to be like, well, maybe I'd rather have an old white billionaire as my president. No, I mean this one, not the other one. But apparently, yeah, apparently they're going to pull out all the opposition on him. Apparently, he said something mean about transgender people, and that's not what you do in politics in 2020. And this wasn't that long ago; it was last year, and that is deeply offensive to probably a bunch of people. Again, I don't like to talk about what offends me or what I think specifically. We're here more to discuss what the headlines actually say and where they're leading us, what we actually are expected to think, because that can get us closer to reality, I believe. I really don't want to get caught up in any sort of emotional arguments about anything. I don't see that as pushing us forward in our search for truth, our search for truth, which we are currently on. Truth. That was a little song. I don't want to talk about that. What else we got? This is more nice picture actually. I should have used that instead. Yeah, it's when you're going to Turkey, it's not super hard. You do have to like fill out some online form, and like they're saying pay about $35. Not a big deal, honestly. Not a super big deal. But I guess Turkey is abolishing the visas for UK visitors. They're not going to be letting these people in that easily. Yeah, like I'm saying, I guess that's for an American that's trying to get into Turkey. That's really all you have to do. You have to go online ahead of time and get this e-visa. Oh, $35. Nailed it. Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ankara announced as of 2nd of March 2020, again with the numbers, Turkey has decided to exempt visa requirements for the members of the European Union Schengen area, Austria, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, Poland, as well as the UK. For touristic travels to Turkey for every... okay, wait, what is that saying? Oh, okay. This is like the opposite of what I was thinking. So now I guess if you're from the UK, you will not have to even bother with that online form. You will be able to just cruise over there and just get ultra drunk for cheap and sit on the beach because I guess, yeah, that's what British people do when they go to Turkey. Just just rock out. Yeah, and they had to pay that $10. Yeah, I guess most countries you don't need to pay $10 to go to, but I didn't really see it as that strange. And I was wondering, yeah, because I'm very curious about this post Brexit reality that we're living in here. What is going to be the changes? What is going to be the truth and the reality, and what is going to be the story that they try to push on this? And I would think that Britain would be deeply punished by the international community for what it's doing, pulling out of an agreement. Because, right, friendly reminder that we're all supposed to be headed back towards each other. That, right, the only way we're going to survive all plasma apocalypse and global warming and all that fun stuff that they tell us about every single day, the only way we're going to survive all that is if we band together and work as a team. And yeah, I, I sort of feel like the UK and this whole Brexit thing is an example scapegoat for why you shouldn't do that, right? You shouldn't leave the agreement. And eventually, I doubt that you will be allowed to. That once everything is sort of unified under some stronger global union than say the UN or anything like that, that you won't have the option of leaving the country anymore. But this is interesting because this seems to be coming the other way. That's what it's saying here. The move comes as British travelers face much tougher red tape when entering the EU starting next year, because it's actually super easy to go between the EU and England, especially once you're already in. There's not really a lot of checking or talking that you have to do to go over these borders. But that's obviously going to change. But interesting to see that Turkey is going in the opposite direction. Maybe they're, I don't know, like on a different team or something. Who knows? What's up, Red Storm? We got Red Storm in the chat. It's good to see you, dude. Hope you're keeping it real. Let's just hit one more. I'm gonna almost click at random. Let's do one of these science and tech ones. Oh, but they look boring. Wait, let's just shuffle it one more time. 18-hour planet on the edge of destruction. Astronomers from University of Warwick observed an exoplanet orbiting a star in just over 18 hours, the shortest orbital period ever observed for a planet of its type. It means that a single year for this hot Jupiter, a gas giant similar in size and composition to Jupiter, passes in less than a day of Earth time. And I have many questions in general about space and just everything that's going on up there, as compared to what we're told is going on up there. And yeah, the amount of money I really honestly go back and forth that the whole thing is fake, and yeah, it's all just actually interdimensional beings in the firmament and all that kind of stuff, or we've been up there since we figured out how to get up there, probably sometime in the middle of the 20th century, and we have just been pouring resources into space. And that's what a lot of the black budgets, at least in America, where that cash has been going, the trillions of dollars that are basically lost almost every budget period, and that a lot of that is going to secret space programs up in the sky. And yeah, I think the exoplanet research, all of this is a key part of eventually the actual disclosure rollout of Alien slash Project Bluebeam slash what's it called? What's the other thing? Project Bluebeam. Man, see, yeah, my brain is melted right now. It's been a very long day. But this is all part of that story. They're on this hunt for these exoplanets, right? We're looking for nice exoplanets. And I always wondered about that name. Why do they call them exoplanets? They're all just planets, but I guess that's saying that they're planets not in our solar system. But I guess the point is eventually they will find and discover and image something that is at sort of an Earth distance from its star, that it has an atmosphere. And I think a lot of that will come at first when the James Webb Telescope is up. Because how they use, I'm sure they'll talk about it here, right? Using transit photometry. Yeah, probably photometry. The scientists know that the planet is 20% bigger than our Jupiter. And that just means that they take the brightness of the star and then they see how much it dims, and then they measure that dimming. And that is what is telling them that there's a planet there, if it happens with sort of periodicity, with a regularity, right? But obviously, it's sort of far away, hard to see little blips of light. And yeah, I'm always wondering, like, well, what if something is passing in front of it with regularity that isn't a planet, that is possible, maybe say the star is like 100 light years away from us, and that there's something in front of it like 50 light years, but it's in direct sight line. And so, yeah, I'm not sure about this method and how effective it actually is, but I guess they have been doing it for some time, and yeah, they must feel pretty confident about it. But I'm wondering about the next phase when they really get the James Webb and other sort of more powerful instruments to measure this kind of stuff, to see what's actually going on out there. I'm curious. But as with the asteroids, as with all these other stories, that this information has to get seeded slowly and continuously over time. There's a good chance that a lot of people are not going to read about this. And so they will have to read about it in some other way because most people, yeah, before we get to that big time disclosure, everybody's going to need to be read up on what's happening here, what the possibilities are, and just in how much trouble we may be. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It takes time. It takes time. Now I want to switch back here. I want to just run a couple frames. I don't have that many, but they're still worth running, I think. Now I used to watch these shows religiously, but I'm not caught up anymore. This is from The Flash. I guess one of the DC shows. There's a lot of these shows that are sort of networked together. Arrow and Supergirl and all that kind of stuff. So, and they all talk to each other. It's spawned this kind of gigantic, I guess they call it the Arrowverse, but you're really encouraged to watch all 5 or 6 shows concurrently to really know what's going on, and they often do sort of spin-offs. It's a great marketing strategy because you really do get sucked into all of them, and before you know it, you're watching multiple hours of DC superhero content without noticing it. Very, very, very intelligently done, I think. And now in this episode, yeah, again, plot is irrelevant, but we're more interested in the symbols and the ideas that they're seeding into our minds. And in this, I've been seeing this a lot lately in different TV shows that there is a way somehow to step through a mirror and enter the mirror world, the mirror universe, and that yeah, once you're in there, it may be hard to get back. That you may become trapped in the mirror. That this was a plot line in The Magicians this season as well. Interesting, right? I'm not sure if that's actually possible, but as with any of these things that get mentioned multiple times by different creators in different scenarios in different ways, there seems to be something there that maybe there is a way to refract light to somehow push you into that alternate dimension. And that maybe, yeah, it's some sort of weird one-way trip. So that, yeah, the whole episode they're trying to get out of this mirror world, and they can't really figure it out. But they realize that they have some sort of yeah, like X-Men style powers. I guess it's DC, it's not Marvel, but they have some kind of like powers that they don't have in the real world that hopefully they can use to get out of this box. And I just, yeah, I find myself thinking about that whole concept that what's it called? Yeah, the mirror world, the mirror universe, and what could possibly be the truth there? Is there truth there? Yeah, because what are the odds that all of these shows, all these different people are discussing the same concept, but looking at it from a different angle? It's just like those space planet articles. They just need to continuously drop it all over the place on the off chance that they'll catch everybody after a certain number of years. That at a certain point it'll be like something like Aliens, where you'd have to be crazy not to know about aliens. You'd have to literally not be paying attention to this culture in any meaningful way to not have already been confronted with the idea of extraterrestrials. And it's the same with all these concepts and ideas. Just some of them are sort of fast tracked, like the whole black hole slash meteoroid concept. Those are in overdrive at this point. And some are a little more low key, like this whole mirror world thing. I wouldn't say I see it nonstop in everything, but it's definitely there, and it's definitely continuous, and it's across different productions, right? The kind of thing where nobody on those teams are working together. Maybe they worked together in the past, but it definitely seems like some sort of mandate, some top-down level thing that's happening. Now, see, I left this frame here in place. I've been wondering if you noticed what I noticed. honestly, like my eyes and brain are broken. I can't unsee a lot of this stuff, and I sometimes wish I could just go back to those days when I could just watch TV without looking at all this stuff and just be sucked into their beautiful, mesmerizing dream state that they like. But sadly, yeah, sadly, we're not in. I'm not in that point in my life anymore, and also sadly, I am bringing you along with me here for this journey. So, right afterwards, you will very difficultly be able to just watch TV without looking for this kind of stuff. So, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Well, it's the red and the blue again. Oh my God, it's everywhere. It's the red and the blue. It's the red and the blue, right? We see it, right? These computer monitors, these little ducks here, it's obviously all been color corrected or meticulously designed up front. That yeah, we're gonna get this specific graphics to be on the. These are probably green screened in after the fact. And color correction software is very powerful and easy to use these days. So you can set up an image like this within minutes and have the desired effect, right? But the red and the blue. And okay, so I'm like, well, maybe, yeah, coincidence, possibly, also not. And here are back to back frames. This is the end of this particular scene. And then I'm thinking, well, there's probably not going to be red and the blue in the next part. It's a different section of the show. Oh, well, I guess I was wrong. Yet again, straight up wrong. This is an establishing shot for the next scene. We're going over the city. I guess what's it called? Star City. Just general stock footage of a cityscape. But yet again, some poor color corrector / graphic artist has been forced or required to step in here and add the red and the blue. There's the red and the blue here on this little thing. A little red logo here. And it's very striking to me. It sticks out in this frame. There's obviously highlighted red and blue. I don't see how you could deny any of that. How could you deny it? And just because why not? Here we don't see the red and the blue, but we do see something else. We see, speaking of mirror worlds, we see a backwards depicted. Can you read those numbers up there? Can you read that? Can you read that? It looks like a 33. And I don't know if I need to tell you what the 33 means, but it means a lot. Very powerful. Possibly the most powerful master number there is. Yeah. So yeah, cool. That's what we did it. We did it, guys. We did it. We made it. Speaking of 33, we just hit the 33 mark. If I am correct, yeah, that's how I have that timed out. That first bumper hits right there at the 33. So the show is like 33 exactly. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, see now I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. Crystal Pistol just chimed in here, right? Their lights are blue against the. It's true, right? And I would encourage you to literally turn on any not student level budget, like actually high level produced TV show and not discover these things. I encourage you to go on your own little rabbit hole journey and see what you find. Is everything red and blue in this particular show? Is it the same in every single frame? Could you pause the TV show at any given moment and see the colors that we're talking about? It's possible. It's possible. It's also possible. I used to think maybe I'm just imagining all this, but it really is. It's just too much. It's honestly too much. It's honestly just too many examples back to back, endlessly reiterating. And I keep meaning to get into this in another episode that this doesn't necessarily need to be conscious, from the creators or the producers. Like that's what I'm saying. Maybe it is like top down. They're handing out PDFs and sending you the information. Well, it's got to be this. Otherwise, we're going to cut your show. So you better just go ahead and do it. Or is it even more like mystical than that? That it just happens. Maybe sometimes, but so much of television needs to get planned like front to back to have the right striking, glittering images that we're so used to seeing. Yeah, I was just looking at this. Crystal Pistol's talking about, yeah, the blue is up here. The blue's everywhere, honestly. And this is sort of an artistic relative thing. I'm not going to say, here's the code book to how this is going. They're obviously going to use artistic discernment to make sure that things are looking good. And so, yeah, not everything's going to be specifically that shade of red or that shade of blue. And again, maybe it's just the attention grabbing thing. It's just that's what evolution. That's how the wavelength works. You put these two colors on the screen, people look. Maybe that's how it is. Damn dog. Well, that's the end of the episode. That's definitely the end of it. It seems like we got some buffering. Maybe I'm talking about stuff that I'm not supposed to be talking about. As I always like to say, if I really am crossing a line here, dear CIA, dear who else were we talking to? NSA, anybody else that is obviously you know who I am and what I'm doing here. Before you come to my house and just totally like black bag me or just I don't know kill me. Can you talk to me first before you do that and just let me know because yeah, I don't want to get murdered, honestly. Not yet. I feel like I have some other cool stuff that I want to do. So yeah, you guys agencies definitely just give me a call, or reach out in some other way. I feel like I'll be able to understand. And this is so interesting. Everybody's buffering. Maybe I really struck a nerve here, and I'm curious about that. Maybe. But I'm gonna get out of here. I really appreciate you guys and the time you're spending here, because I don't know. We're trying to build some weird community here, and it's appreciated. It's appreciated. It really is. It really is. Okay, damn. Now I talk for too long. I try to do this thing with the bumpers, because then it gives me like an exit. If I'm just left hanging here, it feels like, well, what's going on here? I could keep talking. I'm looking at the chat, respond to you guys. I'm gonna jump back to the song.
Yeah, that's right. It's the end of the show. And when I do this auto-tune singing, it's like the show is its ending. And then it's like, yeah, that's the end of the show. That's like what he's doing when the show's over.
All right. For real this time. Much love, guys. Hope you have a good time. Whatever you're doing, sleeping, whatever. Just I hope it's good.